John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing a broadhead that I've tested quite a bit in my lab here as well as in the field. I've taken well over 60 animals with it over the years. I stopped counting at 60. It's the QAD Exodus, and this is the 125 grain model in the swept version. This head, every time I test it, I get blown away, and I'm reminded what an incredible head it is. So I'm eager to test it today and see if it kind of impresses me once again. So let's zoom on in here and go through some of the design features and specifications and then put it to the test. For all the testing, I'm going to be using my protocol for 2024, and for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2024 Broadhead Test Process. It'll walk you through why I do what I do, how I do what I do, how I calculate the scoring, and so forth and so on. And I'm going to be using my Elite Era for most of the shooting, loving that bow. For the accuracy flight testing, I'm using this Killer Instinct SWAT X1 crossbow that I'm also really liking. And I'm going to be using Bishop arrows and bolts for all the shooting because they're just so good. All right, let's zoom on in here and check out the Exodus. So here's a good look at the Exodus swept, and this is the 125 grain model. They also make a full model where the blades come back perpendicular to the arrow shaft. That makes them legal in every state. These are legal in most states, but there's a few states that have a law forbidding barbed broadheads. So this would be illegal in those few states. You got to check your game management brochure or rules just to make sure that you're not taking something illegal out into the field. Okay, enough said about that. Let's start with the materials. It's all steel. You got a super short steel ferrule. You've got a hardened steel tip that's part of that ferrule. I really like this tip. I'll get into that in a minute. And then you've got stainless steel blades that have proven to be very durable over the years. They're 0.040 inches thick. Now this tip, what I really like about it is, one, the blade angle is the same with the tip as it is with the blade. It continues straight on through like you would have in a one-piece three-blade head. A lot of replaceable blade heads have a small tip and then a big steep angle for the blade, and that puts a lot of pressure right there. Sometimes the blades break right there in those heads, and it certainly impedes penetration, but this one angle like that really helps with the penetration. And this tip is really big, okay? It opens up quite a wound channel, and then these blades just glide right through it, and they're quite sharp. You can sharpen them just on any flat edge, but they're sharper than a 60-degree bevel, like one-piece three-blade head would be, because they have a bit of a groove between each one, making that blade bevel less than 60 degrees, but that it's a hardened tip makes it really durable, even though it's got kind of a pretty narrow bevel right there. The cutting diameter is another thing I really like about these heads. It's 1 1/4 inches. So a lot of three-blade heads are 1 1/8. This is 1 1/4, which is really nice. It allows them to have a very swept angle, a gradual angle to help with penetration while still getting that 1 1/4 inch. The total length of the broadhead outside the end of the arrow is 0.84 inches. So super short, like the length of a field point, which keeps the spine of your arrow, the dynamic spine, the same. It allows for a much more forgiving flight. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, this being the swept model, it has less blade surface than the full model, making it slightly more forgiving in flight, as well as slightly better at penetration because there's less blade to cause friction. But both of them are really good. Both of them fly really well. Both of them penetrate well, but this one gets the edge, and it's every bit as durable, even perhaps more durable than the full model is. The total cut, like I said, it's 1 1/4 inch cutting diameter. The total cut is 1.875 inches. So really like this design. You know, this blade over shaft design, you want to make sure you have enough length to your arrow that when you draw it back, it doesn't bump off of your riser. That would be a problem. And they didn't, Exodus or QAD didn't create the blade over shaft design. That's been around for many years, but they really did popularize it in recent years, and I really like it. And for resharpening, I would use the Stay Sharp Guide replaceable blade kit. It does work with this. Some people think it doesn't work. It does. There's just not a lot of blade to grab onto, and so you got to be really gentle as you stroke it, as you move the rollers. But it can work with the Stay Sharp Guide replaceable blade model, and that'll just hone it to a really nice edge. I look forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. The Exodus got the 10 ring. It only took 147 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 8 3/4 inches. It took an additional 50 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.0 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 67 layers, which is really impressive given the diameter of cut that it has. It's in perfect condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. And it's still in excellent shape after 2 shots through the steel plate. The tip got slightly blunted, but the blades, you can't even tell they've been shot at all. And then check out these holes. It's not just like a round hole with 3 slits, but it's truly a triangular hole, and with a cutting diameter of 1 1/4 inches. Really impressive. And for those who say the triangular holes don't really make a difference, check out these 2 animals I shot in Africa with the Exodus. First, this impala. I mean, that is a triangular hole of death. And then you see the same thing in this warthog. Here it is after all the durability testing, and man, I don't know how QAD does it, but these blades are just incredible. I don't know any other replaceable blades like this. Everybody else needs to take note, okay? I mean, these blades look brand new after going through the steel plate twice and then even into the concrete. It penetrated deeply into the concrete, and the blades are still just incredibly looking new if I were to clean them up. That tip got a little bit blunted there, but just exceptional durability. So what'd you think? Man, once again, it just really impressed me. I don't know if I've found a fixed blade, especially replaceable blade head, that has the strengths in every area that the Exodus swept does. I mean, in durability, in flight, in penetration, in cut size, in sharpness and edge retention. There's just not a weakness to it. It's really, really impressive. Matter of fact, when I calculated the scores, it got, I think, the highest score of any fixed blade head I've ever tested, one of the highest scores of any head I've ever tested. I was so impressed once again. I thought I'd give it a shot and reached out to QAD to see if they would give me a discount code. I didn't know with such a big company like that, but they did. And so if you order from their website and use the discount code LUSK10, you save 10% on any order. But man, if you're looking for a good head to use this fall, or just any animal around the world pretty much, it's going to be hard to beat the Exodus. Please stay tuned for the score sheet, as well as the overall cumulative score, the corresponding LUSK grade, and a list of all the discount codes that I have. I have a lot of different discount codes, like I just added this one, so there's quite a few that I've added. And please also check out the video descriptions, because when I update the discount code list, I can't change the video, but I can update them in the description of the video. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.